So today's sutta, we're going to go through Sutta 160, Hard to Dispel. This is from the Anguttara Nikaya, book 5. Bhikkhus, these 5 things, once arisen, are hard to dispel. What 5? Lust, once arisen, is hard to dispel. Hatred, once arisen, is hard to dispel. Delusion, once arisen, is hard to dispel. Discernment, once arisen, is hard to dispel. The urge to travel, once arisen, is hard to dispel. These 5 things are once arisen are hard to dispel. So these are the 5 things. This is quite interesting. The first 3 is basically the defilements, right? So lust is a form of the greed. Lust. Sometimes use sometimes these terms are quite interchangeably used. So the first 3 is about defilement. The 4th is actually a wholesome one, discernment. So having a penetration into the truth, discernment. So once arisen, hard to dispel. The 4th one is interesting. The urge to travel. So even in the Buddha's time, people like to travel. So this sutta speaks to us 2,500, 600 years later. So they all have the urge to travel. So if you have the urge to travel and once arisen is hard to dispel, but yet you cannot travel, then you have suffering. So better dispel the urge to travel, even though it's hard. Hard to dispel, not impossible to dispel, hard. So the Buddha gives us some tips. Knowing that it's hard to dispel, then we should put in strenuous effort to prevent it from even arising. The first 3, lust, hatred, and delusion, to put in effort to prevent it from even arising. Discernment, then we must put in effort for it to arise. So that, because once it's arisen, discernment, so if you can discern impermanence, if you can discern the subject to change, if you can discern suffering, if you can discern no self, if you can discern emptiness, once you have discerned that, then it's hard to dispel. So the effort is worthwhile. So likewise, the urge to travel. Now, at least for this period, better to dispel it. But of course, unless you are traveling to go on a spiritual path, you want to go to Arisen, like Edward and Allison, now on the way, So in around 10 days time, I think by now, about 10 days time, then they'll make their way up to the state of New Mexico in US, and then visit the monastery, Fayun Monastery, which is where I was. Well, my ordination is a bit complicated. I was strictly speaking not ordained in Fayun Monastery. I was ordained in Taiwan, in Santes. So then after that, there was a 30-day retreat in Qingyangsi. Then followed by a 1 week Huoqi, which my teacher then gave teachings on the 九品往生章, 观无量寿品. Then followed by a 2-day talk in US. I think if I don't recall wrongly, it was in LA. Yeah, on 如何学习社大申论. Yeah, so then went back to US. Yeah, so then people like, so you're not ordained in US, but I thought you say you go to US. Yeah, I went to, yeah, but then the actual ordination is technically in Taiwan. Also, you are ordained, you are ordained in Taiwan. Well, yes, but then when you talk about lineage, it's in US. So if you have urge to travel, to go and do practices, that urge should nourish it. Depend on why you want to travel. So I thought I should do a bit of share, not really sharing, but reminder of this week's exercise, because I realized that in the past it's daily. So if you miss, you miss. You don't miss, you don't miss. You know. Then after when we switch to once a week, then I realized because there are some who miss the first day, so you don't know about the exercise. And if you don't go and watch the video, you really don't know. Then by the time it's next week, then I say, do you remember the exercise? Huh? What exercise? So this week's exercise is to do a checklist of all your possessions. Remember? So, and you have to write down. The first day, maybe you just outline, okay? I have clothes, I have pants, I have plates, I have bowl, I have furniture, and things like that, yeah? So you can write down the possessions. So most of the time when we think about possessions, we think about physical things, right? So you should write that down. Then you should think of the non-physical things. Yeah, non-physical things. Non-physical things can be your accomplishments. Yeah, the title that you hold, the position that you have acquired, and so on and so forth. Then from there, then you can move a bit closer that to also non-material, but the relationships that you possess. Yeah. So then all the different relationships. Yeah. So the mother you have, the father you have. Yeah. So not to say that you own them, but this is, if you really think about it, this is what we think of, isn't it? That this is my mother, this is my father. So it's in a way your possessions. Yeah. So so you can go through all the different types. Yeah. You may find that for some of us we have more, some of us we have less, and for some of us we may feel more closely attached to. Yeah. Some not so, and some may be more attached to physical possessions, material possessions, some less so. Some more towards human relations, some more towards the let's say the positions we hold, yeah, and so on and so forth. So then there was once, so I think there was one time I shared this. Maybe I don't think I shared this so many times, but I shared before. But the first time I shared was with some students about how when I was going for a trip, yeah, urge to travel. When I was going for a trip, and then I thought, I should clean up my room. I don't usually clean my room. So when I'm going for a trip, I'll clean up my room, then I'll arrange things, then I'll clear the rubbish, and then I'll try to arrange things so that if I go on the trip and I don't come back, like I die in a trip, then whoever is tasked in the monastery or in the center to sort out my things will have an easier time. Yeah. Because last time when I was in US, I was tasked to do that. Wow. I think I took a few days just to sort things out. Yeah. Not complaining about that monk. Yeah, he passed away. But it's more about from my own angle that I thought it's actually a good practice. Yeah, that we sort things out before we travel. So I was sharing with this this group of students. Then one of them said, "Ah, my Rinpoche, he does that every night." I was like, "Wow, oh, every night." Yeah, so I'm like, on one hand, I'm like, you see, we all monks and nuns. I think monks and nuns, we, yeah, it becomes some of these things not explicitly taught, but it becomes a natural conclusion. Yeah, we must make sure things are in order. Yeah. So you notice that what I mentioned was mostly all the material things, right? Yeah. But actually, one of the time, I actually thought of how, hey, all these things can be sorted out. Then how about the Buddha Vachana? Because at that point in time, no alayama. So at that point in time, there was two software, yeah, the daily readings software on Android and iOS. And I thought, hey, if I pass away, then how? Then how about my blog, buddhavachana.net? Yeah, how? So I thought, oh, I must have a way to inform my sister to get her to, maintain it or something. Oh, my student is here to have breakfast with me. But a bit earlier, he said 8 o'clock. Now it's not 8 o'clock yet. Never mind, let him wait. Wait a while. I'm going to open the door. Let him in. Don't be so mean. Right? Can I say hello?
Hello.
OK，去拜佛，去烧香。OK. So where was I? Yes. So yeah. So I was thinking about how the software and the website. Then I thought, no problem. I know how to write a dead man switch. You know what is a dead man switch? In engineering term, there's this concept of dead man switch, meaning that normally switches are activated by dead man or living man or woman for that matter. Yeah, it's usually activated by a human being who is alive, right? So why is it called a dead man switch? A dead man switch is where it is activated when the person is dead. Then how does the software know that someone has died? So basically, you write a software that would check let's say, it can be every week, it can be once a month, it can be once a year. Now, basically, when it checks, right, you'll check whether.
Okay.
Oh,
I found this on the web.
This iPhone like to talk to me. You'll check whether you'll check the last time the switch was activated. Yeah. So on a regular basis, the person who is supposed to press the switch must go and press it. If the button is not pressed, after you can determine after 1 month, after 1 year, after 6 months, if you don't press it, then it assumes the person has died. Then you will run a certain routine. Yeah, if it has not, you'll go to sleep again and then wait for the next cycle. Yeah, so this is called a dead man switch. Dead man switches are used to activate programs, yeah, when control is lost. So for example, in a nuclear power plant, then they have dead man switch. Yeah, because prior to usually before meltdown, the control system has shut down. So that thing, right, will activate when control is gone. And it's usually to activate the backup Also dead man switches. So I thought, no problem. I can write a dead man switch. But that's many years ago. I haven't write. So in the end, you know what happened? The two program on the Android and iPhone, I haven't maintained for several years. Once in a while, there'll be someone who write to me and say, "Dear Buddha Vachana, thank you so much for the software. But recently, I find that it's not updated. Would there be an update?" So I've been telling people, yeah, I will inform you when there's an update. So I thought, yeah, eventually, I think I will want those who I will want maybe some other people to go and maintain it. And eventually, if it's not maintained, it's not maintained. Yeah, because yeah, and this is my own. I don't say it's a realization. My own conclusion. You know, I wrote the software in the hope that it will benefit people, right? Because the software contains the teachings, and those who install it every day they can read a verse. But whether the software can last, that's not up to me. That's up to conditions. Yeah. As long as I'm alive, I will try to maintain it. But one day I will die, ma. Yeah. Whether it's today, tomorrow, or 10 years later, or I don't know when. Yeah. But one day confirm die, ma. Right? And if such a time come, then I die already lah. Yeah. That when if I die, that's none of my concern already. Yeah. Then how about when I'm alive? Actually, it's also none of my concern. Right? I do have an intent to keep it for people to use. But if there are no more conditions, then so be it. Yeah. So I thought, yeah, should have someone see whether there are conditions to have other Buddhists, yeah, to maintain the software. Then, but that's just still software. Yeah. So I realized that at that point in time when I reflected, right? Yeah, this is what preoccupies me at that point in time. Now I think I haven't maintained for a while. I'm also okay. Okay, then now I can go and maintain it. Yeah. If maintaining it is a preoccupation, then I think I must keep myself away from it. Now that I'm okay to not maintain it for a while, yeah, now I'm okay to maintain it. Yeah, because then even if it for whatever reason it stopped, yeah, I won't suffer. Yeah, it won't be a problem. Now then the bigger thing is, what are your preoccupation? What are the things that if you have to go on a trip, you will be preoccupied with? Sometimes it's short trip, sometimes it's long trip. You know, sometimes it's a trip to a faraway place, sometimes it's a trip to the next life. Yeah. Will you be ready for that trip when it comes? No one can tell you what to get ready for. Yeah, Sifu cannot tell you also. I mean, I cannot tell you, you know, I can tell you to do this exercise. But ultimately, only you know which of the things that you write down in the list is the one that preoccupies you. Yeah, because you look around your surrounding. Yeah, look around now. I want you all to look around. Yeah, presumably the things around you are what you own, unless you're on a staycation or you are on stay home notice in a hotel or what. But otherwise, you look around. None of these things is what you can bring to the next life. This is the state of our existence, you know. It's like playing a game, you know. Yeah, you play a game, then you build up your character, build. Then you accumulate points, then you go and buy one thing, put in your inventory, buy this thing. Then one day the software company say, okay, thank you for playing this game for 10 years. We have run out of funds and we are now closing shop. or you play, then one day because Windows upgrade, then the software is not supported anymore. Yeah. So similarly, our life, yeah, you play this life, Yeah, this is just one of the game we are playing. You play until one day, oh, game over. You know what I realized? Last time I play a lot of games, right? You know one thing I realized about games? You never win in any game on, you know. Yeah, there's no game that you can win. All games you will lose in the end. Lose in what sense? Lose in the sense that the game will come to an end. Yeah, there's no game that you play forever. Yeah, one day you come to an end. Yeah. Also, think about it, huh? Yeah. If we can reflect on this, then we may rethink how we play this game. It's not about feeling disillusioned and then I go and commit suicide. No. It's about asking ourselves, this being the case, then what are the things that is truly important in our life? Yeah, is it that sofa that you buy? Yeah, is it the color of the wall? I mean, okay, color of the wall does affect us. Every day you see black color, also a bad mood. But some people, they see black color, they get quite happy, okay? Yeah. Of course, short term, you must also take care. But what is the long term? What is the more important thing? Yeah. I mean, you just think about it. So how many people quarrel over, things like furniture? But I mean, many times after a while, you just filter out the furniture. A chair is just a chair. Who cares how it looks like, for the most part. Yeah, unless the chair has a nail, where you sit. Yeah, every time you sit, you see, I tell you, don't buy this chair. Why you buy this chair? There's a nail there. Yeah. But similarly, then you want to ask yourself, what are the relationships that you are holding on so strongly? Even the good ones, ultimately, can you hold on to it? Cannot also. But doesn't mean you must go and abandon your kids, huh? Like Huang Ke, yeah. After this, tell the kid, I'm not a mommy. You're not my son. Well, then the son traumatized. No, or daughter for that matter. But it's more about, if we reflect on this once in a while, frequently, then you ask yourself, how should we relate to them? Oh? 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了。
普愿罪障悉消除，
我愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行菩萨道。
阿弥陀佛。Till we meet again, may be guided and protected by the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. As always,
乖乖。
have a non-possessive day ahead. Take care, stay safe.
Thank you, 师父。
Bye bye.
Thank you, 师父。
谢谢师傅，谢谢大家。
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.